Guys, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be making some pho. So I've made this before, one time before, like probably 4 years ago, and so I was just kind of like itching to kind of make it again, but it is a long process. Typically takes about 6 to 8 hours. So I'm going to walk you through how I'm going to make this. So here are some of the ingredients that you are gonna need to make this happen. Let's get started. All right, first things first, we got our meat. I have some, this is some beef neck bones here. This is some beef plank with a bone, and this is just a beef plank that's boneless. I wanted to get some ribeye, but unfortunately, it's Lunar New Year, and so there wasn't a whole lot of meat left in stock. Honestly, a lot of inventory in general. So we just kind of work with what we have. But I also was able to get some beef balls that we're gonna use. And then for our aromatics, I got some onions here that I'm gonna char up and some ginger. And then also I wanted to get like this, the spices and get them like separately. However, they weren't in stock, so I had to settle with this. I've never tried this before, but it's basically like a spice packet all in one with all the spices, so I'm sure it'll work somewhat similar to what I did before. But basically it's star anise, cloves, cinnamon, ginger, and spice. So hopefully this will help. And then also you got your pho noodles or rice stick noodles. So I'm using this brand right here. Got some green onions for the garnishes later. We also got some rock sugar. This will come in handy. Guys, so I've had this big pot here and the water has been boiling now. There's about 8 liters or 2 gallons of water here. And so I'm going to pour in all the meats and let it boil for about 20 to 25 minutes. So let's get it started. All right, there we go. Let's get our meat going. One thing about this is make sure you're really careful placing the meat in the pot because the water is extremely hot. So I used before, it actually splattered on me and kind of burned me a little. So that's one thing I remembered. So now I'm super cautious whenever I pour all the meat in there. All right, there we go. And all this meat was rinsed prior to me putting it in there, just to kind of clean out all the blood. But now this is gonna really clean out all the impurities. So we'll leave that in for a good 20 minutes. All right, guys, so while my meat is boiling, I'm going to start charring my ginger and my onion on the stove. So let's get started on that. All right, let's see how this is working. Thing is, I have like pretty open gaps here, so just hoping that it doesn't fall down. But basically I'm gonna rotate these around so that there's a good char on all the sides. All right, guys, this has been boiling for over 20 minutes now. So now we're gonna dump it out. washing the meat out. One thing I like to do is I have another bowl here set aside so that once I'm done washing it, I could transfer that clean meat here. So. All right, there we have it. We got our clean meat. Now we're gonna refill our pot with clean water. All right, guys, we have clean water in the pot now. And so now we are going to add in, our onions and ginger that we charred. Just like that. I'm also going to add some rock sugar, just about like 3 medium-sized pieces of rock sugar. I also forgot to mention that you needed salt, so this is about 2 tablespoons of salt. And one other thing I forgot to mention is that you're gonna need some, this is probably the most important piece you'll need, is some fish sauce. So I'm going to add in about 2 cups of fish sauce. All right, now I'm gonna add in all of the meat. Okay, it just hit the brim. So, all right, there we go. After that, we're gonna let this sit for a good 6 hours. All right, guys, we are about 2 hours in, and this is what our pho is looking like right now. So, there we go. I think one thing I'm gonna do is, this is the boneless beef shank. I think I'm going to take it out now, because I don't want it to like fully dry out or anything like that. So yeah, let me take that out now. As you could tell, my broth has been overflowing. So I have it on like a medium-low heat, and I actually had to take out a little bit during the first hour because it was just overflowing way too much. And then I lowered my heat. My heat was at a medium. Now it's at like a medium-low now. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take this piece out. Let me know if you guys have made pho before. I mean, this is my second time, so I'm really just learning here. But I know a lot of people usually take the brisket out on their like second hour. And all right, guys, we are 4 hours in, and this is what it's looking like so far. So that broth, as you can see, there's some oil there. We're gonna skim that out later on. But for now, this is like what it's looking like. Look at that meat. Oh yeah. Looking pretty good. At this point, it's just been consistently staying at a low, the lowest temperature on the stove. So we got 2 more hours. Alright guys, it's been 6 hours now, and I'm gonna show you guys what the broth is looking like. Let's do it. Alright, so this is what we're working with right now. As you could see, here's our meat right here. It looks like it's already fallen off the bone. Yeah, it is looking real good. It's smelling really good too. So yeah, that's what the meat is looking like. And now, if you guys noticed, I didn't add any aromatics to this. And so, like I said, I did have this spice box or spice packet because I wasn't able to buy the spices separately since they're out of stock of a couple of them. So I opted to get this instead. And one thing I'm doing differently this time around is my last time I made pho, I left the aromatics in the pho broth for the entire 6 hours. And this time I'm taking the packet and I'm going to keep it in there for the last 30 minutes. And the reason being is because this time around I really want the flavor of the broth to come from the beef and the beef bones. And so I don't want it to really come from the aromatics. So, but I still want a hint of those aromatics there. So I'm gonna keep it in for another 30 minutes and just let it seep into this broth right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this in there. I'll check back with you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, our soup is officially done, ready to go. I've removed the spice packet, and now I'm just gonna continue to remove some of the other things here, like the onion. Just gonna get that out of there. And then the second one right here. All right, so the goal is to just kind of remove all these extra parts. Also gonna just remove the meat from here so that I can work to filter out this broth and kind of skim out some of this oil here. If you could see just the oil and the excess like fat and residue on top. So let me go ahead and do that. One thing that's good that you can use to kind of help with that is this like, what do they call these things? It's kind of like a skimmer. So it kind of, as you can see, it gets some of that residue out of there. So that helps, but I'm also gonna do like some extra filtering here just to remove all that excess fat there. All right, guys, I have officially skimmed out the soup. All right, guys, so I have finished skimming out the soup, draining it, filtering it, all those things. Quite a process because it is a lot of broth and I don't have a lot of bowls to filter it, so I kind of just had to make do with a couple of my other pans, but we did it, made it happen. And now the broth is completely filtered. I have all of the meat right here. One thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually break this meat apart to eat. I don't know if that's something that's common, but there's just like a lot of bone and stuff, so I kind of just wanna, I don't want to sift through that while I'm eating pho later on tonight. So I'm just gonna break it up into, and kind of like shred it up a little bit. And then the meat that I took out, 2 hours into it boiling, the boneless meat, I'm going to cut this up into like slices. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. And everything will be prepped for when I have dinner tonight. So let me get started on that. All right, guys, so I have all the meat here, and since it's been boiling for quite some time, it really is like just like it fell off the bone, so it's super just tender, if you can see there, which is great. So yeah, just gonna rip it up into just like small chunks. I don't think I'm gonna do the shredding like I said, just like little mini chunks of meat. So there we go. All right, guys, this is what the meat is looking like. So looks pretty good. And now we're gonna move on to this piece of boneless beef shank that I took out. and I'm just gonna work to slice this up. So let's see what we're working with here. All right, that's what it's looking like. And now I'm gonna try to cut it up thinly. So I'm going to cut it up into thin slices like that. Let me know. You know, this is just the only meat that I had in store at the moment. Like I said, with everything going on in Lunar New Year, the stock wasn't as full as it usually is. So there wasn't a whole lot of meat selections. So I do, next time, want to try some ribeye. But is there any other meats that you recommend? Let me know. But yeah, I'm gonna get to cutting and yeah, just get this prepped for dinner. Alright guys, one thing I forgot to do was cook the beef meatballs. So I'm currently cooking that right now. I've basically gotten broth from the big pot and just transferred it in here, because I'm going to just make a small batch or warm up a small batch for dinner tonight. So yeah, I'm gonna cook these up. Should be done shortly. Alright guys, ready to do this. We got our broth boiling here. We got our water boiling here. I got my toppings. I got all the beef and everything. So we're ready to go. So first things first, I grab my bowl here. And before I dip my noodles into this water here, I'm actually going to take a little bit of water and I'm just going to put it on my bowl. And I'm just going to switch this all around and just get my bowl nice and hot. Then I'm going to just like dump out that excess water that I have in there. And then while that's doing that, and while it's warming up my bowl, I'm gonna take some noodles here. So I'm gonna take some noodles and I'm gonna dump it in that water for about 10 seconds. So here we go. Alright, just get it all in there. Alright, that should be good to go. Now I'm going to grab this and, oh, I forgot to dump out the water in my bowl. Let me dump that out. Alright, now I'm going to grab this, transfer it over to my bowl here where it's nice and hot. Okay, there we go. So we got our noodles in. All right, and now I'm gonna grab some beef balls here. I got some of this meat here, just a mixture of all different types of meat. All right, there we go. Got some cilantro, and I got a lot of green onion. I love green onions, so I like to put a hefty amount in there. So that is what it's looking like, and now I'm gonna pour this broth over. Now I'm gonna pour over the broth. Look at that. That looks delicious. And there we have it. Finished product. All right, guys, that is all for the pho. And last but not least, I do have some hoisin and some sriracha here on the side if I want to dip my meat into it. But yeah, let's give this a little taste test. All right, here we go. Let's try the broth first. Okay, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Wow. I would say a little salty. I wish I didn't put as much salt, but that's pretty good. All right, let's get the noodles in. That's good. All right, I'm gonna dip this beef ball here. Wow. Here's the meat. That is super tender. Wow. Here's the beef shank, the boneless one that I pulled out 2 hours in. Wow. Okay. That is really good. I'm gonna go ahead and enjoy this right now, but thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys would like me to make some more dishes, maybe some different types of pho, or just any dish in general, let me know. Or if there's any way that you make your pho and you would like to give me a suggestion, I'm open to any suggestions. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.